All right, we're here for part 2 of our Talking with Friends summer series. So we had our first one week before last with Aaron Meister, our new men's and women's wrestling head coach. The whole series is focusing on our new head coaches, so I'm actually super excited. I was always super excited about all of them we did in the fall and spring too, but this is kind of new and something different. So I am maybe even more excited to do these.
Well, if you think about it, we haven't really had many new coaches in a while.
Yeah, and we got a slew of them now.
Well, now we have like a whole bunch of them. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and I love all of them. Seriously, that's why I'm excited to do these. If I didn't like them all, we probably wouldn't be doing this. We're probably doing something different.
Well, I'm learning to love them all. So there we go.
Yeah. Well, as always, I'm Sports Information Director Levi Converse, and with me is my assistant.
Yes, assistant SID.
Still assistant.
Still assistant.
Still
like
assistant.
we discussed last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, still assistant SID Morgan Raspberry with you.
Yeah, and today, part 2, we are joined by our new director of golf and men's golf head coach, Dustin Galyon. Dustin takes over the men's golf men's golf was on campus for the first time since 2015. And I am just really thrilled to have that back. And Dustin's already done a great job, but he's going to get going even more as we get going this season. Dustin, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. It's a treat to be here, and just excited for I join in your excitement and celebration of our new coaches and all of our coaching staff. It's been a fantastic group to join under the leadership of Dr. Ramsire and really under the leadership of Dr. Carey as well. But our coaches are special, man.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot in a short period of time from coaches who have a lot of experience, a wealth of knowledge, and I think a real excitement to be at Friends University, not only for what we're doing now, but I think where we're headed.
Yeah.
And so that vision, that visionary piece has been really exciting. So, needless to say, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like I said, we've got really solid coaches that we're coming in that I think everybody, I know them a lot. I know you guys a lot because working on the press releases with you to announce the hiring and all that information that we got and getting quotes from you. I feel like I already know most of you, if not all of you already. But doing this kind of lets everybody else get to know you.
Sure.
And I think everybody's going to like you. Let's hope. But,
I
think so. I think it's a pretty safe bet.
Well, I hope so. I hope that when we encounter alumni and new people, and that they have a good spirit towards Friends and what we're doing. So that's the hope.
Well, let's hope. Let's just hope that tomorrow they'll say, I really like Dustin talking. Bring him on the podcast. I don't know if that's the right. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen though. So those that might not be familiar with your role, you are also the director of golf here.
Yeah.
So in addition to men's golf head coach, so kind of just let everybody know your responsibilities with that role.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, we are blessed to have a great women's coach in Paul Howe. And so, walking hand in hand with Coach Howe and what he's done with our women's program has been fantastic, and they continue, to improve. I think one of the big words that Coach Howe and I use coming into this is how can we elevate, the women's program that's already very sound and solid, but how can we take that program and continue to elevate? And I think we saw definitely some of that this spring, and I think we're going to see even bigger strides this coming fall, and I think they're set up to do some really nice things, both with recruiting, but also with the student athletes that we have coming back. He's got that whole roster. He's got fantastic young women on there that are, I think, have had some tournament experience, and I think are just now starting to understand the capability of what they can do on the golf course. So as director, that was one of the roles, is to step in and walk hand in hand with Coach Howe. And I think just very fortunate that I get to step into a partnership with him with a program that under his leadership is doing some really good things. And I think anytime that you have two minds and two sets of eyes and two sets of hands and you get to bounce things off of, you're better. So iron sharpens iron, and I think Coach and I have been able to come together and have really good conversations and think critically on how to elevate that program. And so that's the trajectory of that is really neat. And, they had a good showing. They had a great showing in the second leg. Broke a couple school records on back-to-back tournaments, and then went and in day 2 especially of the conference championships played really well and played pretty solid on the first day. So that's that part. On the men's program, it's obviously fielding a brand new team and creating a culture of our men's golf and what that's going to look like, what we want it to be about. Golf is not new to Friends. It's just bringing it back has just been new the last couple of years, obviously. So it's been fun to chat with several alum that have played golf here and the experience they had, the great experience that they had. And then just obviously revitalizing and bringing that back. And it has been a ton of fun to recruit for Friends men's golf. Excited about our roster, excited about the guys that we have coming in and ready to compete this fall.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it, men's golf not being on campus since 2015. So it's not exactly the same thing as creating a new program, but it's pretty similar. So where would you assess kind of where that process stands now here as we sit here in the middle of the summer and, we're still over 2 months away from the first fall competition, but where would you kind of assess where that program is at the moment?
Yeah, well, I would start with just the culture piece. You talk about I had the benefit, if you will, of I had the vice and the virtue of not having a team. The vice is you don't have guys currently on campus when you have other recruits to recruit to. You haven't competed, in the very near future, if you will. The virtue is you get to set your culture and you get to set the program. And how you do that is it's not by what I say. It's about the guys we go and get and what they do. And so that's been really, really fun. So to assess it, we've got 11 guys signed. We'll bring in 3 of those guys are quote transfers, with 8 guys being freshmen. 2 of those are international, Northern Spain, and feel really excited about the talent that we have coming in. Feel really excited about the academic, nature of our group. But more than all of those things, I'm really excited about, I think, the character of our guys and what I think will be our team culture. Guys that would genuinely care about each other, guys that want to grow in their faith, guys that are golf fanatics, and guys that value what Friends University offers from an academic standpoint, from a fellowship standpoint of meeting new students from all different walks of life. And then my prayer, my heartbeat, and I say it in every recruiting call, is that our guys will have an opportunity to encounter who Jesus Christ really is and the relationship that he wants to have with each and every one of them. I say that at the beginning of every recruiting call to guys, no matter what your background, no matter what your story, no matter where you're at today. My heartbeat and prayer and why I'm coaching at Friends University is that I'm hoping and I'm praying that our guys will have a real encounter with who Jesus Christ is. How you go about that is meeting guys where they're at, loving on them, sharing their stories, serving them. And as Coach Dean Jaderston would say, preparing really good soil in our guys. And so that's a lot. But as far as today, that's where we're at. Our fall schedule looks really good. We're going to play in some nationally ranked events, get a test of where our guys are at. I was asked that question, we're going to play, what kind of tournament schedule are we going to play? And so we're going to host a couple, here in town at Crestview. We're going to one that's at Derby. But also we're going to play in the Mid-South, which is a nationally ranked event. We're going to play at Prairie Dunes in the National Collegiate. Big 12 National Tournament was there, this year. So our guys are going to get a chance to really see. And I think that's what young competitors want. They want a chance to see, where do I stack up against the very best. So we're going to see that early and often in our schedule, both in the fall and the spring. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So when I put your schedule online recently for the fall, it stood out because I'm thinking, this is a pretty stacked tournament we're going to. But that's good, though. I like that because that really kind of gives you a barometer of where things are going to be in the fall and kind of sets you up good for conference in the spring. I think that's really important to play a good tournament.
I agree, and I think great play elevates great play, and so for our guys to show up, I've told our recruits and our parents, I want our guys to show up to the golf course and say, "Wow, I'm excited to play this track. I'm excited to see where I'm at." And I also say that to say that I think we've got some guys coming in that are ready to compete, and we're going to see, we're going to learn about that. But I think we've got a lot of guys that have played serious tournament golf that have been in pressure situations. I'm excited for our guys to go and see what college golf is all about. Our freshmen, and I think just our practice regimen, our facilities, I think will set us up well for when we go to tournament play. So these are all exciting possibilities that our guys will have, and giving them an opportunity to compete at the highest level, I think we owe that to them as coaches. So.
Yeah, sure. And recruiting, we touched on that. I think it's a good segue. It's important in every sport. I don't think any sport you can underestimate how important recruiting is. It's the lifeblood of the program. But I think when you're starting a program or restarting a program, in your case, it's doubly important. So on that note, I mean, I always like to ask this to kind of get a feel of the program is when you're on the recruiting front, you're looking for guys or girls to go into your program. Is there a characteristic or trait that stands out that they just have to have for to be a part of the program?
Yeah, I love that question, and I would say this. Obviously in any program at the collegiate level, I think it's overwhelmingly obvious that there has to be a level of talent, correct? So that's a no-brainer. But I've said this to every recruit that I've had on the phone in my office. I often tell the story of my upbringing. My mom and dad were barbers by day and janitors at night. My mom worked a third job at a bakery. And I often talk about, I tell our guys that I grew up in the wealthiest household in America. We didn't have any money, but we were wealthy with prayer and love and discipline and encouragement. And man, I come from the greatest home you could ever imagine. And in that, I tell the story that, 18 years of my folks working, 2 and 3 jobs to put my sisters and I through college. Never once did I ever hear my folks complain. Never once did my folks say, hey, you owe us something. Or my folks said the same 3 things to us kids all the time, and that was work as hard as you can, outwork everybody. Do the best you can. That'll be good enough for us. And be thankful for the opportunities that you have. And so when I talk to recruits and their parents, I say, hey, you can come from pennies, you can come from millions. I could care less about that, but I want guys that want to come in and outwork everybody. I want guys that every day they're going to try to win that day. They're going to let's be great today at what we do. It's something I'm going to tell our guys over and over in practice. Can't control the weather at the tournament tomorrow. Can't control who shows up. All we can control is, can we be great today? And then that last piece is so huge, man, to be thankful. We're gonna travel around and play some of the best golf courses and the best tournaments that we can get to. Every guy's gonna go play. We practice at Derby and Crestview Country Club, the only 36-hole private club in the state. Friends University, I think, is a fantastic place to come to school every day. And it's not that there's not tough times, and there's not that there's not burdens, but man, I look around and say we got a lot to be thankful for. So you ask the trait, I would say hardworking, thankful, and guys that are hungry. I will tell you the trait that's not is a person that's entitled and that's not interested in working hard. That one has not. We've steered away from that. The other piece to that, Levi, that I would say in Morgyn is a willingness to the faith component. And so to come and play for me, do you have to, in the recruiting process, state this, that, or the other? No. But I think there has to be a willingness, and I tell our guys all the time, hey, we're going to talk about Jesus in our program. I'm going to be active in trying to represent what that's about. Again, that doesn't mean indoctrinating or being forceful or dogmatic in it, but just to say, are you open to that? Because I think if they are, being here and being at Friends and being in this environment, our program, man, I think there's a great chance that they're going to either grow or start a new relationship, and that's the most exciting to me.
I think that's the biggest thing, and it's a perfect lead into my next question, because it's a little bit off the golf course, a little bit kind of off the athletic trail. It's more of a personal thing.
Yeah.
I think exposing student athletes to Christ and allowing them to kind of learn about the gospel on their own time, but yet they're hearing it here. So that kind of plants a seed to where they're going to, you hope it continues to grow. And, you've been involved. You've been the 2019 Kansas FCA State Fall Speaker. You've owned Galyon LLC, which I put in our press release in your bio, which I thought was pretty cool, where you're speaking, you're leading training on a yearly basis on just different important topics. disciple leadership, athletic leadership. So how excited, it seems like you're pretty excited, but how important is it that you're able to apply, the real life experience that you've had, and in my opinion, the most important experience probably, to impact the Christian mission here? How exciting is that?
Yeah, well, I would say it's the reason I am here, and it's the most exciting. Back to you started in that statement. If the greatest thing that a guy who plays for me is that he becomes a better golfer and a better athlete, I have failed him miserably, and I think I failed the institution miserably. I would say that golf is a vehicle, and basketball is a vehicle, and wrestling, and we can go on. And I would say English, and I would say engineering.
Yeah.
Those are all vehicles that we get to use to love on young people, and I think expose them to who Jesus Christ is and who He's calling them to be. I hope my guys leave our program knowing that they're bivocational, that they're going to have a job in something, but they're bivocational in that, man, they're a disciple and they're a follower of Christ, and that is also part of the mission of what they're here. I would tell you that the leadership training, the motivational speaking, the seminars that I have the opportunity and responsibility to lead, that I'm asked to go and speak at, I think those things go hand in hand with coaching, especially golf. You talk about a game that is incredibly mental. That is golf. I also think in every sport, and every sport can do this, and so I'm not saying that golf is the only one, but I think golf may be the pinnacle of transferable skills. You talk about accountability. There's nowhere to hide on a golf course. It's you and the course. Yeah. It's not, hey, I didn't get enough shots up, or we didn't run enough plays for me, or hey, I didn't get enough balls thrown me as the wide receiver, or if I just had a couple more at bats. This is you and the golf course, and it has no friend or foe. There's nowhere to hide. So I think the discipline, the accountability, the prep work until you get there, it's incredible. But to your question, how excited am I to be at an institution where we are going to meet young people where they're at and walk with them, and with the ultimate goal of sharing Christ. I couldn't be more excited. I had the opportunity to speak at the February board meeting, and I heard our board president say just that. He said, hey, we're an educational institution and we provide athletics and education, but he said, but before all that, we're a Christ-centered institution. And I loved it. In fact, I was sitting with my wife at that, and we looked at it, and I started crying. I just so longed. I guess I was so excited for our board president to stand up and at the very beginning say, hey, before we get to any business, before we start talking about anything else, let's make sure that we understand that we're Christ-led. It was powerful. I also think we've got a wonderful opportunity at Friends University in how we go about doing that. And so this idea and this ability in the work to truly meet young people where they're at. And I don't know about you, but I was 18 at one time. I vaguely remember it. Morgyn, you were closer to that than we are. But there's some things that you're working on. Mm-hmm. There's some things you're still figuring out. There's some things you're still deciding. And so this idea of truth in Jesus Christ and what He's done for you and I on the cross and the relationship He's calling us into. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that all of our kids have it figured out, because I was 18 from the wealthiest household in America in a praying home and brought up in the church. And I'll tell you, at 18, I still had a lot of things that I needed to work on. And I think it's true not just for our university, but for every university and every young person. So to have the opportunity, and again I'll say the responsibility, to walk with young people hand in hand, and again to allow them to share their stories, their narratives, to serve them, and to see them where they're at, and then hopefully model who they're called to be. And I'll tell you this, and Morgyn, you may know this, obviously, as just coming off as a student. You don't always see the fruit of that labor in 4 years. You want to, but I've had phone calls, 5, 6, 7 years after they've left and said, Coach, hey, I want to tell you, thanks so much and how you've impacted me. Or, hey, Coach, I've made this commitment to Christ in my life. And I want our program in men's golf and in women's golf to be a program that you may come from a deep faith tradition. You may come from no faith tradition. You may come from a different faith tradition, and we're still going to welcome you, love you, and hug you. But obviously, my hope and my prayer is that our young people get to encounter Jesus and Him alone.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, and I know this is not exactly a church, but it has to have church-like characteristics because, Jesus Himself said He came to save that which was lost. As a doctor comes to tend for the sick, He came to save the lost. So sometimes, whether it's a church, a Christian university, or wherever you go, you kind of, I don't want to say you don't welcome sinners, but it's kind of easy to get in our own little clique and think, okay, well, we got this, I think it's important. And you don't want to bring anyone that's going to badly represent the university and chase people off. That's not the point. But
sure,
you want to bring people in that doesn't know Christ, because that's how you make your impact.
Yeah,
people who's never been exposed to Christ. This may be the only time they are.
Yeah,
so I think it's very important.
Yeah, and I think that I think that dare I say the world, but I think that we need people, we need coaches. That are going to steward young people in the right way, that are going to love them in the right way, and that aren't going to coerce or, I've always told our guys this, I never want you to say X, Y, and Z about your faith to make Coach happy, because I don't think it's real. I don't think it's authentic. I'd love for you to be incredibly real with me about where you're at on these things, and let's grow together. Understanding that, again, Dustin Galyon's never saved anybody. Neither is Levi, neither is Morgyn. That's the gift of the Holy Spirit. My job is to be faithful in who Christ has called me to be. And in that, Kevin Wilder's a great man. He married my wife and I. And at the end of every email, he'd say, preach the gospel and use words if necessary. Not saying that words aren't necessary, but I'm saying, boy, if we can live that and we can be that, I think it's wildly more attractive than what I stand up and say is what I do. And so, again, those are all things, and young people are not perfect. I sure wasn't, still not. So you grow, and there's growing pains in that. But to be consistent, and I just look at our university from the top down, our leadership, and Dr. Carey, and just got out of a meeting you did too with Dr. Todd, and people like Dr. Ramsey, our AD. And again, not perfect, but man, I think genuinely care. And the other thing I use, Levi, is this idea of transferable skills. Christian or not, there are transferable skills that you learn in athletics. I surely want our guys to learn in our team. Things like being accountable, things like working hard and working smart, things like over-communicating. I think if you show up in the workforce and you show up every day and you work hard and you learn how to work smart and you over-communicate, man, I think you are so incredibly attractive to any employer. I think if you do those things, those alone, I'm not talking about what your test scores were, what your GPA is, those are important as well. But if you can show up every day and you can work hard, learn to work smart, and you over-communicate, I think you would be wildly attractive to people who are employing. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Morgyn likes to have some fun questions.
Boy.
I tell everybody, though, I don't call myself, I'm never super serious. I guess compared to her, I'm semi-serious.
There you go. Morgyn, now I'm nervous. I'm both in the middle. So
it should be lighthearted, but it may be harder than what I'm talking about.
Well, we've been pretty deep, so I'm great with lighthearted. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like to have fun with all of my questions. It's way more interesting to me with fun questions than boring questions, you know, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, my first one that I have is because I know what my specific one is, but I want to know what yours is. Okay, so what is your favorite golf movie that has come out?
Oh, man. I knew you would ask this. Things like Caddyshack, things like Tin Cup, things like Tommy Armour. I mean, all the things you see on the Golf Channel or that you've watched. I will say for me, Legends of Bagger Vance, I think had a lot of transferable skills in it. So that's probably my favorite golf movie. The golf movie I watch the most, though, is Tin Cup. But let me say this. I don't watch a ton of golf movies. I watch a ton of golf. I watch a ton of golf instruction. I am a golf fanatic, a golf geek. My wife often says, honey, aren't you tired? I'm like, no, I'm not at all. There are people that their job is something, right, whatever that is, and then to get away, they would do something very different, right? So, for instance, I went on a guided fishing trip on family vacation. And I asked our guide, I was like, man, do you love to fish when you're not guiding? And he said, no. He said, I enjoy fishing. He's like, but when I only fish now when I'm guiding because it's my job. So when I'm not doing guided fishing trips, he's like, I don't touch it. I would be the opposite. I love golf. I love to teach golf. I love to be around golf. And when there's a time that I need to recharge, or hey, you've got a whole day, you can pick whatever you want to do, I'm going to golf. So I think that would make me a golf junkie, but I didn't return the question. What's your favorite golf movie?
Okay, so my favorite golf movie, this is going to tell you the extent of my golf knowledge right here, right now. Happy Gilmore.
Oh, I didn't even say, yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't.
It's been a while since I've watched it, though.
You just can't hate on Happy Gilmore. Like, it's hilarious.
Okay.
It's hilarious, but you learn a lot.
There you go.
You really do.
Good to know. I didn't even come to my mind. So
The first time I've seen Happy Gilmore, I'll admit, the biggest attraction to it was Carl Weathers and Apollo Creed and Rocky. Because I'm a Rocky fan, so I have to admit that was like first.
There you go. we have gone super lighthearted. We're now talking about Happy Gilmore. So
yeah, I told you, they don't get no more lighthearted than that.
Awesome. Good question. Number two.
Right.
I'm all ears.
All right. Okay, so what is your favorite type of golf? Okay, so this is what I mean by type of golf is like, would you rather like go and play competition golf? Would you rather like go and actually compete with other competitors? Would you rather just go out on the course with like friends having a good time, lightheartedness? Or do you like the golf range, or my personal favorite, putt-putt golf?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I would tell you putt-putt would rank last for me. I think it's great. But no, I would.
I'm not good at golf, so that's why putt-putt's my favorite.
Putt-putt's fun, and I like putt-putt. It's great, especially if you're on there's some cool putt-putt courses. I would tell you that you talked about competition. The best golf that I have ever played and could ever play is with my dad. It's just a special time. It's a time for us to, I'm not sure there's anything we haven't talked about in life on the golf course. And again, one of the reasons that I believe that golf is such an incredible game, it is something you can do generationally. My dad beat me on Monday. He's 69 years old. I'm 38, and he beat me. There are rarely a competition, a sport, that you can have 30-year age difference and competitively get beat. He played really, really well, and I didn't. Early played well at the end. But I say that to say my favorite type of golf to play is with my dad, and now with my son. He's 4.5, and no lie, it was on Monday. I got home and he said, Dad, he said, I think you and I need to have some guy time. He's 4.5, just you and I on the golf course, and then go eat pizza. I'm like, yes, overwhelming, yes. So we're doing it Thursday, and so like when you just think about those times, you can't put any dollar amount to it. You can't put any of that. I do love competing. I like tournament golf. It's fun. I like four-man scrambles, that type of stuff too. I think it's a lot of fellowship and a little more lighthearted than individual competition. But and I love, you said it, so I love when our guys get to go compete. I love the strategy of golf tournament. I love looking at how a golf tournament is going to be played, how each hole is played, setting our guys up for success the week before that, of what each player is probably how they're going to play that course, what that's going to look like. Google Earth is an amazing tool for our guys to be able to see each golf hole and the layout. So there's a lot of things you can do now to prep for a golf tournament that you couldn't do, I even say 10 years ago. And so there's some science to it, but ultimately guys got to go out and compete when the pressure's on, and so that's cool. But yeah, golf with my dad, with my little guy, without question, and us together, we're starting to do that a lot. Where Jackson will go out with Papa and I look at those times on the golf course, and I just take these mental snapshots, and I say, Lord, let me never forget this, because that's what it's about. Those times are what it's about. So good question.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I know that my brother and my dad always had that special bond too. However, my brother ended up becoming a baseball player, so golf was not exactly the route they were always allowed to go.
Yeah,
But he still likes to go out, and whenever they get together, they always either play golf or they're always out in the doing something baseball. I don't know. They're always together though. I do know
awesome.
that. So
Yeah, great bond.
yeah, that's always a good bonding thing. And then also like since you said that it's a very like mentally independent sport. Like this is probably one of the most independent sports in ever, right? Or I think it is. I don't really exactly know. I don't exactly know. There's a lot of sports. I've always been part of a team sport, so it's kind of that would be very challenging for me personally. However, I do know for a fact that a lot of athletes, because I fall under this category too, do you have any superstitions before you either go in or like your kids go into like a tournament or something like that? Like, do you have like a specific like ritual type thing, specific thing? Like, I'm sure you pray before a tournament. I know I always did.
Sure.
But
well, I would say a couple different things. One, I think that golf at the professional level is obviously individual. I think golf at the collegiate level is a mixture of that. Yes, obviously a huge individual component. I think probably golf and track, cross country have some of those similar through lines or similarities is probably the better way to say that. I do think, though, on a golf course, I do believe that guys still have to be selfless in their approach to playing, i.e., we're going to have a strategy for how we want to attack the golf course, and I think there are times that if you don't follow that, you can get selfish and shoot a high number, and that's not going to work for your team. But yes, I do think it's probably more individual in some ways than many sports. When you talk about a superstition or a ritual or something like that, I would tell you absolutely not. I guess I'm old school in this. I think my whatever goes through my mind is if you've prepared well and you've paid attention to the details and you've worked hard, tournament day is the celebration of that. It's the time to go have fun and put all that hard work on display. I think if you're standing over the ball and you have all these different things going through your mind, then you haven't prepared very well. But to your point, I guess I'm trying to think of something that I would do on tournament day that might be different. I'll say this. I have everything laid out like to perfection the night before, detailed in a way that would probably make others maybe uncomfortable. So I become a detail freak on those things. I'm not necessarily a detail freak on other things. When it comes to practice schedule, tournament day, I think there's two ways to do it. The right way and then whatever else. So we're going to do it the right way all the time. And the right way is detailed. I believe, you talk about leadership training, I believe what you measure will grow. And so we measure things and we compete at the smallest drills because what you measure grows. And so we want guys to do things with that in mind and see that growth. So I don't have necessarily anything crazy. I like to eat a lot of beef jerky on the golf course. I guess that'd be that's one thing.
Never a bad time to eat beef jerky.
Amen to that. Never a bad time.
I'll tell you one time about beef jerky. Either last year or before last, I forget. It was a long day. I think it was a game day, and I hadn't ate lunch yet.
Yeah.
And Coach Faber came in.
Yeah.
And he knew, and I didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, I'll get something here. Don't worry about it. About 45 minutes later, hour later, he comes in with a huge pack of beef jerky for me.
Leave it to Coach Faber.
And I thought, hey, you saved the day. That's just awesome.
I'm telling you. It's let me just say this. All of our guys will have the option for multiple flavors of beef jerky every tournament. No, not shy on that.
There's never a bad time to eat beef jerky.
Never a bad time.
I mean, I eat all kinds of it. Even the Slim Jims, I like those.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of the snack, and then you get the kind of the pepper beef jerky. It's kind of spicy.
No doubt.
I like spicy best anyway, so that's even better. But there's really no bad kind of beef jerky for me, to be honest.
It's a great source of protein on the course.
Yeah. Healthy. Healthy.
Morgan, your questions are fun.
I told you. I always have fun.
She's the fun person. This is the fun part of it.
You're fun too, Levi.
She's funner.
Funner.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a word we're going to go with it.
Yeah.
What else, Morgan?
Okay, so one of my last questions is, how did you feel about the U.S. Open? that just did, I believe it just ended this weekend.
Yeah, no, on Sunday. Yeah.
Rob actually won it.
Yeah, well, a couple different things. I've been a John Rahm fan back when he was in college, then turned pro. Man, he's got unlimited power and yet just unbelievable hands. So I thought the U.S. Open played like a U.S. Open should play. Thought it was incredibly tough. I thought the course was really tough and yet I'll say fair. But man, watching those guys compete, just a different level. I was pulling for Rahm to win it on that last day. I thought Louis may pull it off. Always seems like something happens in a great career, but more runners up than any. But I will say this: I was excited for Jon Rahm to win it and to email. And I need to email yet my two guys from northern Spain. It was a big week for Spain with the World Cup going on, and then Jon Rahm wins it. I will say this, and I think one of the reasons I was so excited that Jon Rahm won the U.S. Open, one, he's a brand new daddy, and that's pretty cool. But in the tournament before, he was had to step out of it with COVID symptoms or with COVID. I thought his press release on how he handled that was ahead of his time. He was just a consummate pro, supported the PGA, the USGA, and I just thought that was I thought his composure was unbelievable, and I think that has been the ultimate factor for him. He's fiery, and that's a vice and a virtue, and I think at times it's been a vice in the biggest moments. So it was good to see him play really, really well on Sunday. It's also interesting, you talk about geeking out on golf. He's got such a short backswing that at times I think in pressure situations he gets a little quick, and it's so short that sometimes there's not a lot of time for him to correct it. And so to see him to see him play, I will say, and strike the golf ball down the stretch like he did, you thought he was going to make a couple birdies because he had two or three that were right there that didn't, and then obviously finished I think with two of the last three were birdies, and what an unbelievable putt on 18. So it was fun. It was a great Father's Day, and I was thinking a lot about Payne Stewart during that as well. But anyways, so yeah, I was excited and happy that John won. I'm a huge Jon Rahm fan, and several other guys that I pinpoint like to watch. But I thought overall the U.S. Open played like it should.
Yeah, so. Payne Stewart was probably my favorite golfer as a kid.
Yeah,
and that was tragic with what happened to him.
Tragic, and I always think about him and Mickelson, where he beats Mickelson and looks at Phil and says, "You're going to be a great dad," and so just the U.S. Open so special because it is on Father's Day weekend, and it's just huge. So we did not play golf on Sunday. We were together as a family and had great food and fellowship, and then I took my dad for a golf round on Monday to celebrate Father's Day, which has been a pretty big tradition for us. So
that's incredible. Just touching on Jon Rahm, I think when he had to bow out, I think everyone around him was more upset than he was, at least to the statement. He really took it. Yeah. He was professional about it, and if it were me, I can't say I would have been that. Yeah. You never know. Six-stroke lead. He was in control.
Oh yeah, he was running away.
And then it's taken from you. And you get it, but you're like, if I'm in that position, I don't know if I would be that. I would hopefully be that gracious, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think his world has become, again, I don't know him at all, but I think I do know, what it is to be a dad, and I think your things come in perspective pretty quick when you're holding that little one, and so I think that experience for him is. Like in all things, I think that it only helps you become better and have a deeper sense of understanding. So, yeah, that's important. But
yeah, it is. And just real quick, how cool was it to have the U.S. Open one night in prime time?
I know.
That was really cool. Yeah. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, very cool.
Really, really cool.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last question, I like to ask this very often. Officially, I think it's now a segment on our podcast. I'm not sure if it's on the actual podcast announcement, proof thing that we have.
If it's not, we can put it on there. Yeah.
Okay.
We can always add it.
I don't think it's on there.
We'll do clerical work. We'll talk to the secretary and see.
But so it's like, it's like, what should Morgan do next, basically? So, okay, so now I'm done with volleyball. I've already explored race walking. We've explored wrestling now. And Rob has still crushed my dreams of being a race walker. So I don't think I can be a race walker anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still salty. Rob, I hope you're listening because I'm still salty about that.
Awesome.
Still salty. Okay, so what do you think? Do you think I could play golf? I don't know. I'm pretty bad at it right now.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I would say this. I would say as technical as golf is, and you're looking at like doing something for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
I would not steer you towards golf, simply because golf. There are several sports. Like I'm going to use basketball for instance, right? You can take a talented athlete, and even if they can't shoot or dribble, they can still impact a game. They can set screens and they can rebound and they can defend. And there are some things that not saying they're not skilled, because they are. Those things take skill as well. But there are some sports that I believe, if you're athletic enough and you have great effort and determination and grit, you can probably there's a chance, right, that you can make an impact, have a role. With golf, it's so technical that I think that I think it would be almost impossible in 1 year with no golf background. But, so the question is, what do I think you should do? I think, not knowing you, having not met you, I think that the excitement and just kind of the glow that I see and feel with you and this today with Levi, I'm not sure, again, not knowing you, I would say, man, continue to lean in to what you're doing here. I think obviously it seems like you have some really great interpersonal skills and good energy. So I'd say keep leaning into what you're doing. But again, that's me not knowing much about it. So
I agree, and I'll tell you this, she's been phenomenal in her role with me, and I told you we can't let her go yet. She's here. I don't know if we'll ever let her go. and I'll tell you, she's become like family. And
awesome.
Everything that you said that you look for in a recruit, the hard work, the character, the openness, Christianity, she has all that. So, the only thing she doesn't have that I think is a certain level of talent. You said there's got to be a certain level of talent.
Oh, listen to that. Oh, my.
Every characteristic you mentioned, she has. And that's a compliment. But I don't know if she has a certain level of
Oh,
talent.
my. Listen to Levi.
You're telling me everything.
Everything else she has. But in golf, I don't know if she has a certain level of talent.
In golf, yeah.
Okay, in golf, I don't. Okay,
that's
I will admit that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now he's making it clear. Golf, yeah.
She has every bit of that. But everything that you mentioned, you look for in a golfer, she has.
Awesome.
Except a certain level of talent.
Okay.
If I'm out on the driving range, I am that person that attempts to do the Happy Gilmore swing.
Yes.
And I actually apparently am better at doing the Happy Gilmore swing than an actual golf swing.
Right.
So
I would absolutely tell you. Yeah,
so
there you go. Right.
But
if they've got competitive putt-putt, you said you like that, so that's great.
Yeah, to me,
we're
clear
the what's it called now? Like the Holy Guacamole show now. It's like a competition.
Okay.
I don't even know. It's like on TV. It's like a putt-putt golf competition.
I've got a 4.5-year-old and 18-month-old. We don't watch much TV unless it's golf.
Yeah, I know the feeling. But
technically it is golf, so.
Awesome.
But it's funny.
Yeah.
It's like a combination of like, what's it called? I'm drawing a blank to what it's called, but it's the course game where you have to like go on different courses and stuff like that. There's like the big red balls on it.
Oh,
Wipeout.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, so it's like a combination of Wipeout and putt-putt.
There you go.
I've watched that. Awesome? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
To be clear, she has talent working for me. But for you though, she has those characteristics.
Well, that's a huge
except
compliment.
she might, and I wouldn't have it either. But that certain level of talent, she probably doesn't have. Everything else, if you're looking for anything else, she has that.
That's
a cheerleader for you guys.
I don't think we have those in golf, so that's a huge compliment. But guys, thanks so much for having me.
It's been fun. Yep.
Genuinely excited for the invite to share, and so thanks for that and getting to know both of you a little bit more, and excited for August to be here and have our student athletes on campus and get rolling. So
I am too, and there's always a certain level of excitement for me that comes in
bet.
August. But I think this year now even a little bit more since
Yeah.
I keep knocking on wood. But I think we're going to be back to normal. We're tracking that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of geared up for that.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think our students are longing for a real sense of community where you get to be present with one another all the time, and so that's big.
And last year was unique in its own way, and
Sure.
I'm proud of what we were able to accomplish.
You bet.
I'm very
You
satisfied
bet.
with what we could do.
Hey, it's like
it was great.
The lady that spoke at our graduation,
Yeah.
the one word that she could describe this whole entire year and the classes of 2021, resilient.
Yep,
We
awesome.
are
Yeah.
resilient.
Yeah,
That's
God was
it.
with us. God was with us every step of the way.
God was with us.
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we're
Agreed,
treading in the right
agreed.
direction. So, Dustin, thanks a bunch. This is one of my favorites we've done. I can tell you that.
Yes.
So,
Thanks. Well, thanks for having me, guys. I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll have you on again down the road.
Okay,
Here
Oh
pretty
yeah,
soon.
don't worry.
I'll hold you to it.
You'll be
Yeah,
back.
we will.
Maybe after fall golf season, we can do a recap or something.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Sounds good to me.
See,
Awesome.
we're already planning for
Yeah,
later.
let's do it. Let's do it.
Thanks,
let's have
guys.
another school
Yeah.
record.
Yeah,
We'll do that again.
I'll hope so.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for
All
having
right,
me.
we'll see you.
All right.
All right, that was Dustin Galyon, our new director of golf and men's golf head coach, doing a terrific role here. Already getting geared up for the fall season. Tracking towards that. We're already middle of June.
Man,
So
we're
it's
already in
getting
the
there.
middle of June. Can you believe that?
It's hard to believe it.
Oh, that's tough. All right, so we already spoke about the U.S. Open, obviously.
Yep.
So, what other sports are we going to talk about today then?
Well,
What else do we have going on right now?
NBA playoffs are going on tonight. The
Oh,
conference
yeah.
finals are around the conference finals. Mm-hmm. In the Western Conference, the Los Angeles Clippers and the Phoenix Suns, game 2 tonight. The Suns won game 1, 120 to 114. The Clippers are without Kawhi Leonard again. The Suns without Chris Paul again. It doesn't look like Kawhi will be back in these playoffs. They did win the final 2
Did he
games.
get hurt or something?
Well, it's a little bit vague. He
a little vague,
supposedly
okay.
had a knee strain.
Okay.
But then the next day, they come out and think it may be an ACL injury. But
Oh,
that's not been
no.
confirmed. But he's out, and there's no timeline for him to return.
All right.
So
well,
it's looking like, and they won the last 2 games versus Utah without him to win the series, but it's looking like they're not going to have Kawhi for however much longer they're in the playoffs.
Oh, man,
Chris
that
Paul will be
sucks.
back, though. At some point, he's out with COVID protocols. He's not playing tonight. They thought he might play tonight, but he's been symptom-free.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think
So-
he'll be back for game 3, possibly.
So going back to like Kawhi, though, I think it's best that he probably doesn't play because even on a knee strain, like I've strained my knee before. Like we almost thought it was torn once, and turns out you just got bad knees, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's not fun playing on bad knees, especially as a basketball player. Like those are very like vital for a
Yeah.
basketball player.
Yeah.
It's like key. Now it's like. So, I don't know, but I hope that he gets better soon. But at the same time, it might be best that he's not in the rest of the playoffs, you
Yeah.
know? It might
Yeah.
suck for the team,
Yeah.
obviously, and it's going to stink for him. But in the long run, I think because, I mean, he wants a good career, right? Like, he wants a long-lasting career. And I think that
Yeah.
this one sacrifice
I
will
agree.
have to be something good. And I think that the team can hold their own without him, especially
They
if they
have him.
do. Yeah, I was like, obviously they've done it with Utah Jazz, and Utah Jazz
Yeah.
has been
They were
pretty
the top
decent this
seed.
year.
They were the number
Yeah.
1 seed in the West. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that they should be able to pull it out, but I hope he gets better. And
Paul George has been kind of carrying the load, and the Clippers have good role players. Reggie
Yeah.
Jackson's been big, Marcus Morris. So I think that's going to be a good series. I still like the Suns to win it just because the Suns are playing so well right now. Beating the Lakers in 6 games, then sweeping past Denver. Devin Booker's playing outstanding. He had a 40-point triple-double on Sunday. So I like the Suns to win, but I think the Clippers will make it competitive, even without Kawhi. And tonight, also the NBA draft lottery for Oklahoma City Thunder fans. It's a big night, not in the playoffs, but next best thing is the draft lottery. So here's how
There
it's
you
going to work. It's big. Here's how it's going to work. So the Thunder have the 47% chance of getting 2 top 5 picks. Their own pick and Houston's pick. If Houston's pick comes outside the top 4, it goes to the Thunder. Now, if it's in the top 4, then Houston keeps it.
Yeah.
That's from the Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook trade year before last, when the Thunder got Chris Paul, traded Russell Westbrook.
Oh, yeah,
They also got
yeah.
2 first-round picks and a right to pick swap this year. So that was top 4 protected. So if Houston's pick is outside the top 4, the Thunder get it. The Thunder also have a 45% chance of getting a top 4 pick of their own. So odds are they're going to. I don't believe they can pick any lower than 8, and that's pretty That's a low odds. I think it's going to be at least in the top 7 at the very least. Of course, it could be number 1. They have the 4th best odds for the number 1 pick. But it could be a big night for the Thunder. And they also have the 16th pick in the draft and the 18th pick in the draft regardless. Because they just traded Al Horford to Boston. He goes back to Boston, and they get Kemba Walker. So, big night for Thunder fans. Not as good in the playoffs. They've been in the playoffs every year, just about since they've been in Oklahoma City. So it's a little different rebuilding phase right now, but they already got good young players, and they was in the playoff hunt until they set Al Horford down, looked at younger players. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, also a very good player. Their top player come down with plantar fasciitis, and they set him for the rest of, I believe, the final 27 games of last season. They were right in the playoff hunt at that time, and they went on I think they lost 24 of the final 26 games to finish with the top 4 odds for the top pick. But they still got a good future. They got a multitude of draft picks, too, down the road. So they're in good shape. But we'll see where they pick tonight. NBA Draft Lottery tonight at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. It's going to be interesting to see. Hopefully they get 2 top 5 picks. That'd be great. If not, hopefully their pick is as high as it can be. Number 1 would be awesome, but at least in the top 4 or 5 would be the best.
Yeah.
So that's tonight. After that, Clippers and Suns game 2, 8 p.m. Both is on ESPN. Tomorrow night, the Eastern Conference Finals kick off. I think the story of the playoffs very likely could be the Atlanta Hawks advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals behind Trae Young. They knocked off the top seed Philadelphia 76ers in Game 7 on the road in Philadelphia Sunday night, 103-96. They're going to face the Milwaukee Bucks, the 3rd seed in the East, who defeated the Brooklyn Nets in Game 7 on Saturday night. So that's going to be an interesting series. I had Milwaukee making it this far. I didn't have Atlanta making it this far. Yeah. I had Atlanta winning the first series, which they did. I had Philadelphia winning the conference semifinal, and Atlanta knocked them off in 7. I'm actually happy they did because I like Trae Young a lot, being an Oklahoma product, but I didn't pick him. But he's played outstanding, and Kevin Huerter was probably their best player in Game 7, had 27 points.
Yeah.
And the Hawks have a lot of good role players surrounded Trae Young, and it's really paid off. They went and got Bojan Bogdanovic this year. They already had John Collins. They went out and got Clint Capella, who's big-time center, defensive player, really good on lobs with Trae Young. They also went and got Danilo Gallinari from the Thunder, and they actually signed Gallinari. He played in Oklahoma City last year. They signed Gallinari, who is a three-point threat. So Kevin Huerter is also a young draft pick they've got. They're pretty well built, and they're just kind of having their coming-out party now in these playoffs, and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals against Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis had a huge Game 7 to beat Brooklyn, looking for that elusive championship. And out of the 4 teams left, either they've not won a championship or I think it's been since 1971 since they won a championship. So this is new blood. This is not the same old chalk that we see oftentimes in the playoffs. This is new blood, and I'm actually excited about it to see some new teams involved. So it'll be fun.
Man. Exciting times. Sorry, I just made a couple of changes to my roster on fantasy
Your fantasy baseball, yep, we're talking about that.
George Springer is back.
Springer is back.
He is back, and he's starting tonight, so I'm excited.
Good.
That's really exciting news. Sorry, that a little bit of the Stros came out.
That's going to help your team a lot.
I think that's going to help me a lot too, because I think he just recently came back. Because I could have sworn he was not back yesterday or the day before, but I didn't really look either. I haven't looked in a while, so he probably has been back. It's just now I've noticed he's back. But anyways,
you did win last week, though, and you're back in the playoff picture, as I am. So
I did. I beat Luke by 200 points.
Yeah, you come back, and Luke was leading, though.
He was leading, and then I came back and whooped him by 200 points. It was good.
Yeah, he was following it. And you caught fire that last weekend. It was really a close game on the final weekend.
You want to know what I did? I finally looked at it and was like, oh, one of my players is injured.
Yeah, it does help to look at it, and it does help. But
I was like, oh, that's why. Okay. Yep. He's been injured for a little bit, and I'm like, maybe this is why I've been losing my games, because I'm like,
you have better luck. You have better luck against Luke than what I do. Luke has been. Now, I am firmly in the playoff hunt. Right now, I would be the 3 seed if it started today. But Luke beats me about every time on this. And right now we're tied on a Tuesday, so Luke has been my nemesis. He beat me in fantasy basketball in the playoffs.
Fantasy basketball, I gave up on that a long time ago.
Well, we made the playoffs, and Luke beat me in fantasy basketball, and he's beat me earlier in fantasy baseball too. So if I can get by my kryptonite, so to speak, then I might really make a run at a championship. But if I face Luke, it's going to be a tough outing, and then it is again this week. Looks like. I'll tell you what I've come to find out.
Love it.
When you get deeper into a fantasy season, whether it's football, baseball, or basketball, you kind of know what your team is a little bit and know what kind of drives it. I have come to this simple realization with my fantasy baseball team. When Jacob deGrom is healthy, I can beat anyone. Mm-hmm. I'm a championship contender. When he's not healthy, I'm not very good. and he's been out some. He's back now. Had a really good outing again last night. He pitched the week before. Mm-hmm. He went out again hurt, but now he's back. He wasn't out very long. But the time that he was on the IL, I wasn't very good. I went to 4-4, and now I'm 7-4 since deGrom come back and really looking good. I'm the second leading point scorer in the league now. I can contend for a championship. There's no guarantees. I can lose in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like this team that I've put together can beat anyone if deGrom is healthy. He's the best pitcher in the game. If he's not healthy, I'm not very good. I might not even make the playoffs.
I don't know. I will say this much. Me getting Garrett Cole has been a major, major game changer for me with my pitchers. I mean, I got him first round pick because I don't think y'all were thinking go pitchers. I was going pitchers first before anything else.
I got deGrom first. I think
you
did?
Yeah, okay.
Did. Yeah.
I may or may not picked before you, or
I had the first
if I did,
pick.
I just didn't really care. I was like, okay, he's all right, but I was like, nope, getting Garrett Cole because I knew.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, not only, like, just from, like, what he did with the Astros, but, like, also what he's already done, like, with the Yankees, Like, he's a phenomenal pitcher, and so is your guy, too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
they're the top two
They are.
top two fantasy scorers.
And however, I do like Charlie Morton, though. I don't really like his personality or the way that he carries himself on the mound, like but at the same time he can back it up. Yeah, that's like me with talking to my brother about stuff. Like, honestly, I hate talking to my brother about sports or anything like that because I'm like, man, you suck, and he's like, no, I don't, and I'm like, yeah, you do, and then he starts talking so much crap to me, and I'm like, you know what, prove it, and he's just like, all right, bet, and he just sweeps it, because I'm like, he can back it up, little turd.
I mean. Yeah, so deGrom and Garrett Cole are the top two pitchers in baseball. Charlie Morton is very good as well. He shut down the Cardinals last weekend in Atlanta. That's not saying a lot, though. The Cardinals either score 9 runs or they get shut out. So pick your night that you want to. Well, honestly, that should happen in one day. So.
Well, if you think about it, whenever he was with the Rays last year, like hardcore, Charlie Morton was a major contributor to why they made it all the way to the World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was.
Like,
he was
don't get me wrong. They were pretty stacked in their pitching anyways. Like, I thought the Rays had a really good pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Rays were built around pitching. Blake Snell, Charlie Morton, Tyler Glasnow. Yeah. I mean, they were built on their pitching.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's been a very interesting time. And not going to lie, like, even through, like, this whole entire, like, COVID year, too, I'm impressed at, like, how much that really hasn't affected the players at all. Like, I mean, last year you kind of saw it a little bit, especially on the Astros. Like, man, you saw it big time for some strange and odd reason. Not that we were affected by COVID, but, like, just the COVID year in general, like, this was really off. And it had nothing to do with COVID. It was just off, and that was the same for a lot of teams, But now you're starting to see some normalcy between all of the teams again, and I think it does help that fans are allowed to come back, like officially allowed to come, and we're allowed to have the atmosphere again, and I think that everybody enjoys it. Like, I remember sharing a Facebook post a long time ago saying about how, like, enjoy the little things in life, basically. Like, when oh man, just enjoy that hug that you get from your aunt or from your uncle that you don't really usually like getting a hug from, but because you didn't get that, you never had the opportunity to anymore, that got taken away from you, enjoy it. And then maybe hang on to it to make sure that it never goes away again. And I think that's how a lot of athletes, especially in the professional world, are taking this as, is because, like, you went a whole entire year, basically, or almost a whole entire year without any fans. I know how awkward that was for us. I can only imagine at the professional level, where that's your livelihood. Like, you're supposed to be entertaining people. that's your life, And so it's been interesting to see how the fans have been a major impact on the team atmosphere and the team attitude, because it feels different, and I don't know if that's just me.
It does. Oh, it does.
And
it does.
I'm just personally noticing it for some strange and odd reason. I think it's different, but I hardcore do believe something is different, and it's a very, very positive thing.
I agree.
And I hope that they can keep that, and all the teams can keep this attitude super positive, super fun. They normally do. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's normally a lot of fun to go to a professional baseball game or just a professional game in general. But I'm hoping that this really does set the tone for in the future.
I agree. Yeah. We took a lot for granted, and we found out we took a lot for granted. Now, the key is not taking it for granted again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think I talked to myself on that, too. I think it's easy for any of us to take stuff for granted, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we were quarantined from, goodness, it
Forever.
broke last year in the middle of March.
Yeah.
Because it was the week after our softball tournament.
Yep.
And it broke then, and we didn't come back on campus till the end of May. And it seemed like it was even longer than that. About 2.5 months we were quarantined, not even on campus. And even then we come back, it was kind of on a, we come back pretty well every day, but the campus is still obviously very limited. Even during the sports season, we had different protocols and stuff. So I think everybody's excited, as we mentioned with Dustin too. I think everybody's excited to kind of get back to normal and kind of relish some of the things that maybe we took for granted in the past. And
for sure.
But again, the key is not doing it again, because it's easy to do, and we got to make sure we enjoy everything that we got now. Coming up. You know what? That is a pretty good, I don't know if that's a segue to our randomness or if that is our randomness. What do you think? That's pretty random.
It is pretty random, but I mean, I had some just randomness.
You got some randomness? So let's continue the randomness. Let's go.
All right. So, because obviously we just had Father's Day here recently,
Yep.
I actually wanted to do a little bit of just some facts mainly about Father's Day, and then I want to talk a little bit about, because I have some very exciting / not so exciting news that I'm going to have to do soon.
Yeah.
I know you know.
I know, but they don't. Yeah.
They don't know yet. So I want to talk a little bit about 4th of July as well, because we might not get to do a 4th of July podcast.
Yeah.
And as heartbreaking as that is, it's because I have to get my tonsils removed. So I won't really be able to talk and do much. Yeah. So I apologize to you guys that we can't do that, but we're going to celebrate 4th of July right here, right now, along with belated Father's Day.
Why not?
Because why not?
Yeah, because our next one will probably be after 4th of July. So
it'll probably have to be after 4th of July, and we may or may not talk about more 4th of July facts. You never know.
Yeah.
It's randomness for a reason, you know? But anyway, so here's some Father's Day facts. It's like 10 facts about Father's Day. So it's like weird and wonderful facts. Okay, so fact number 1. Did you know Father's Day was invented by American Miss Sonora Smart Dodd, who I
had no idea. Okay. I bet our listeners don't either. That's cool.
Who wanted to honor her father, a veteran who had a single parent, raised his 6 children, who had as a single parent, raised his 6 children, so he had 6 kids. Wow, that's insane. And the first Father's Day was celebrated on June 19th, 1910. That's crazy. It's been around for a long time.
It is. It is. Those are stuff I did not know.
Mm-hmm. All right, so fact number 2. Unlike Mother's Day, Father's Day was originally met with laughter. It was the target of much satire, parody, and derision, with a local newspaper complaining that it would lead to mindless promotions, such as National Clean Your Desk Day, which is actually, I believe, a holiday. That's like National Donut Day. Did you know that was like not that long ago?
I did, actually. I did
I
know
looked
that.
up some random facts about National Donut Day.
National Donut Day, I did. Yep.
I could tell y'all some National Donut Day facts. I'm just saying. I love holidays, even if they're the stupid, mindless holidays. I just think they're awesome. Okay, fact number 3. The first American president to support the concept of Father's Day was President Calvin Coolidge. Who did so in 1924. But it wasn't until 1966 that President Lyndon Johnson signed a presidential proclaim that resulted in the declaration of the third Sunday of June as Father's Day.
Very
Interesting. Speaking of holidays that are presidentially proclaimed,
Yeah.
Juneteenth is now officially a holiday. It's now officially a nationally federal holiday.
Yeah,
It's always been a holiday, but it's
Yeah.
never been a federal holiday, and now it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yay, yippee.
Yeah.
Yippee for all of that. We
Yeah.
love it. Awesome.
The more federal holidays we can get, the better.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
just another day off. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't care why. It's another day off.
Yep.
Number 4, according to greeting cards, or to greeting card makers Hallmark, Father's Day is the 5th largest card sending holiday. I wonder what the first is. Actually, I feel like I know what the first is. Can you guess what the first is?
Christmas?
I would assume Christmas.
I would think.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
That's got to be like a close second, right? You would think.
so, yeah.
I don't know.
But usually, though,
But
you're not. Is that sending cards or buying cards? Though?
Sending cards.
So, see, you may not be sending cards on Valentine's Day. You're with your Valentine. Usually.
I don't know.
Like
I don't
Christmas,
know.
you're sending a family that you may not see even.
That's
that you
fair.
want
That's
to-
fair. Yeah.
But Valentine's normally you would see, but mostly, wouldn't you?
That's fair. I guess my family's just weird and we get cards for everything.
Yeah. Hey, that's good though. That's good.
We get cards for everything. It's great. I love it. Number 5.
St. Patrick's Day. Gonna go get a St. Patrick's Day card.
Yes!
Sign it.
I
Yeah.
think I may or may not have gotten a St. Patrick's Day card once. I'm not really, I can't remember. It had to be a long time ago, but I'm pretty positive I did once. Interesting. And we're not even Irish. You
Yeah,
know,
have
like
some
we're not
St.
an
Patrick's
Irish.
Day barbecue. Just get
Yes!
together for
Let's get together for St. Patrick's Day.
yeah.
You know? Number 5. In Germany, Father's Day is celebrated differently from other parts of the world. Please bear with me. If you're German and you know how to pronounce this, kudos to you, but I'm going to try my best. Monertag or something like that. Like
Okay.
Monertag. It means Men's Day. Is celebrated by getting drunk with wagons of beer and indulging in religion or regional food. Police and emergency services are in high alert during the day. I love that. I love Germany.
This is
I
like the
cannot
most
wait to
random-
go.
That is totally
I
random.
know, right? Number 6, going for a floral gift. Traditionally, fathers should be given the gift of white or red roses. The rose is the official flower for Father's Day. Wearing a red rose signifies a living father, while a white one represents deceased father.
I did
That's
not
kind
know
of
that.
sad, but that's
Yeah.
that's a cool little intriguing thing that I didn't know.
That's actually good to know.
Number 7. Surprisingly, the trusty slipper gift isn't the most popular Father's Day present. It's actually a tie.
Tie with what?
It's a tie.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
What?
I say what I'm saying. Tie. I'm always thinking tie. What's
Like,
that?
what's the tiebreaker? No,
Yeah,
it's
is
a
that-
tie. A tie.
Okay. Okay.
actual tie
That
that you
actually
put
does
around
make
your
sense.
neck.
Now that I think about it.
That just made this even 10 times better. I love it.
How random is this?
I love this.
Yeah.
Number 8, the world record for having the most number of children officially recorded is 69 by the first wife of Fyodor Vasiliev.
You're stuck
I don't
yourself on
know.
this.
I'm horrible with names right now. Jeez. It's like Vasiliev.
Let me see if I can pronounce it any
It
better.
almost looks like Vaseline, but not with an N. It's a V.
I would say Vasilyeva.
Vasiliev.
Vasilyeva.
Vasiliev.
Vasilyeva. Say it. Vasilyeva.
Vasiliev.
Come on. Vasilyeva.
Vasiliev. I don't know. But from 1707 to 1782, a peasant from Moscow. His first wife gave birth to 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. Wow, dinner times must have been pretty chaotic.
I would say.
Oh, man. Okay, number 9. Although there is no evidence of its origin, it is believed that the word dad dates back to as early as the 16th century. It is said to come from the first syllables uttered by babies, pa, plus the kinship suffix ter, pater. Accounting for the Latin pater, the Spanish padre, and the French père. Yeah. Père.
That's right.
Yeah. Takes baby talk to a new meaning.
It does. Yeah. That's another random fact.
And then finally, fact number 10. In Thailand, Father's Day is set as the birthday of the king. December 5th is the birthday of current king, Boomabal, or Humabal, maybe. Boomabal, I'm going to say like Boomabal.
Let me see it. See if
I
I
don't
can
know.
get it.
Something. Buddha.
Boomaball.
Boogaball.
Boomaball.
Boogaball.
Boomaball.
Boomaball. Dula Deje. I'm not even going to try that. Thais celebrate by giving their father or grandfather a canna flower, which is considered to be a masculine flower. So apparently we're not supposed to give Father's Day ties or slippers or tools. No, we're supposed to give you guys flowers.
Well, you've missed it all this time.
Man, I had no idea. Wow.
I still
Love
like
it,
my gift of going to a
love it.
baseball game better, though.
I know, right? That'd be fun.
Yeah. But hey, if you have me flowers, and I'll take them. I'll put them in water and keep them and cherish them. And
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
For next year now. That's a sigh of relief.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. So now I am officially going to ask you some trivia questions, but this time about 4th of July.
Okay.
Because 4th of July, honestly, is one of my personal favorite holidays. However, that is the history and political science nerd inside of me. I love it. I am so fascinated by our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, whole 9 yards, just the making of it all. If I could go anywhere back in time, I would love to go back to the signing of the Declaration and the writing of the U.S. Constitution. I would have just loved to have been a part of that. That's so amazing to me and so fascinating to me. So 4th of July is honestly one of my personal favorite holidays. It's not my all-time favorite holiday. Halloween is. But it's definitely one of my personal favorites. Halloween is just you can't say Halloween is not fun.
It's fun, but it is fun. We have fun with it.
My favorite religious holiday has to be Christmas.
Christmas is my favorite, but we always had fun Halloween. I did like trick or treating.
I like decorating for Halloween. It's just fun.
And it's kind of, for me, it was kind of the beginning of the winter holiday. Like it was kind of the kickoff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
To the winter holiday. So I always had fun with it.
I love it, but now y'all know my favorite governmental holiday, I guess.
4th of July is good. I love celebrating
4th of July is just so much fun.
If it's as random as the Father's Day things was, I don't know how good I'm going to do in this trivia. So we'll give it a shot.
So trivia question number 1. There's 25 questions.
Okay.
Okay, ready? So number 1. Where was the first celebration of Independence Day held? Think long and hard. Come on, you get this.
I should know this, and when I hear it,
I'll give you a hint. It's where the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Philadelphia.
Yes. Whoop, whoop.
That's
the first ever Independence Day was held in Philadelphia.
Yep.
So number 2, every Independence Day, how many times does the Liberty Bell ring?
Oh goodness, I don't know that. You want to give me a hint? I'm going to take a guess.
You're just going to have to take a guess on this one because as soon as I tell you, you're going to know it.
Well, yeah, that's true. All right, I really don't know this. I'll just say 3. That's
3?
Right.
Okay, add 10 to that. It's 13.
13, okay.
For the 13 colonies.
Okay. That's a good fact.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, I like this information I'm getting here.
Yeah, there you go. Number 3. What was the name of the newspaper that published the Declaration of Independence? This is going to be a hard one.
It is a hard, but I will know it when I hear it. Trust me, because I don't think I can guess it. I don't know if I can get a good guess on it, but I know I'll know it when I hear it. All right, go ahead and tell me.
The Pennsylvania Evening Post.
Okay, actually,
Yep.
I don't. That don't ring. It doesn't ring a bell. I thought I would, but I don't.
Okay, here's an easy one, okay? I think you
we'll
can
see.
guess this one.
We'll see.
So, number 4, the 4th of July commemorates which document?
The Declaration of Independence.
Yay! I told you it was easy.
That was, fortunately. I got to get a couple right here and there.
Number 5, this one's pretty easy too. Well, number 5, what is the proper way to fold the American flag?
Oh, gosh. I don't think I can explain it, but I think I could actually do it if I had to do it.
Like, what shape is
It's
it?
folded a certain way.
What shape is it?
It seems like they fold it into kind of a triangle type.
It is
shape.
a triangle.
Yeah.
It's in a triangular shape.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's how they fold it. Because I've seen it done. I could probably do it. It's kind of hard to explain. But it's a triangular shape. Yeah.
Oh, this is actually kind of a cool fact that I didn't know about. So, you might not know this one, but this is kind of cool. So, number 6, which American president was born on July 4th? We actually just talked about him, too. For Father's Day.
Was it Lyndon B. Johnson?
No.
Dwight D.
the other one.
Eisenhower?
No.
I thought that's the two we talked about. There's someone else we talked about? No.
Calvin Coolidge.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, he was the first president to
Okay.
officially celebrate Father's Day.
Okay.
Bam. Number 7. Which president of the United States was the first to host a 4th of July celebration at the White House? It's an oldie.
I'm not going to know this one, but
Do you know the order of presidents?
somewhat. No. I know
Who's our third president?
Washington, Adams, Jefferson.
Jefferson!
Thomas Jefferson. Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
our third president. And he's also the first one to host it at
Yeah.
the White House.
See, I know history. History is my favorite subject in high school, but some of this is probably random where I won't get it. But I know a lot about history.
This is my life right here.
Yeah, I
love
do
it.
like this.
Number 8. How many stars and stripes does the first U.S. flag have?
The first one had 13, right?
13 what?
Colonies.
Yeah.
13 colonies and states. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
No, but how many stars and stripes does the flag have? You're on the right track.
13 was my guess, so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Now,
guess
how
I
many
know.
stars?
That was the stripes, wasn't it?
13 was for the stripes. Now
Yeah,
we have to
so
do
for the
how many
stars,
stars does the first U.S. flag have? There's
I don't
more
know
now.
I don't know how many stars.
There are 50 stars for 50 states. When Betsy Ross first created
On the first?
the American flag,
Okay, I was going to say that, but I thought there were less.
50 stars and 13 stripes.
Okay.
There's
okay.
always 13 stripes with it. Now there's more stars. I can't remember exactly how many there are now, but we do have more stars on
I
it
should
now.
have just guessed 50 because that would have been my guess, but I don't know. I thought there was less than that when it was first made.
This one's a little bit
I
surprising.
knew the 13, but
Yeah.
the star, I thought there was less star. That's good information.
Number 9. What is the location of the nation's oldest 4th of July parade? I'm a little shocked at this one.
If you're shocked, then I will be too. Is it Valley Forge?
No.
Delaware? Is it it's not Delaware? Because I would think that'd be somewhere. It's not Philadelphia, I
No.
guess. Because if you're shocked, it wouldn't be none of those.
I'm very shocked at this.
Because that
for
would
some
have been
reason.
that would have been the place I would have thought.
Yeah, same.
All right, where's it at?
Bristol, Rhode Island.
Never would have guessed that.
I never would have guessed that.
Never
That's
would've
interesting.
never
Well,
would've
congrats
guessed
to
it.
you, Bristol, Rhode Island.
Never
If
would
we
have
have
guessed
any
it.
listeners from there, congrats on the oldest one. I never knew that. Number 10. What was the total number of people who signed the Declaration of Independence? I do know this one.
I probably did at one time, but I think I forgot it. So, how many? Let me think.
Give me your John Hancock.
Was there 13 signers?
Way more than that.
Way more than that? Okay. Then I'll guess 40 because I don't remember.
Close. It's 56.
56, okay.
For the 56
Okay.
people.
Okay.
Because some states or colonies had more than one representative.
Yep.
Number 11. Every July 4th, what food is most commonly consumed?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs is the answer. If you're not having hot dogs on 4th of July, what are you doing?
And I think Joey Chestnut takes care of that by himself. If none of us would say hot dogs, I think he would carry that.
I think he's got us beat.
Yeah.
Number 12. What was the name of the national anthem of the United States? Or what is the name of the national anthem? Sorry. What is the name of the national anthem of the United States of America?
The Star Spangled Banner.
The Star Spangled Banner. Number 13. Who gave the Statue of Liberty to the United States?
I don't know. I don't know that one.
The French people.
Okay.
The French did. Yep. And they have one just like it.
Okay.
Except for theirs is copper. They keep theirs clean.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
we apparently don't.
Yeah. That don't surprise me.
Okay. What is the Statue of Liberty's official name?
Oh, goodness. I don't know that because I always just call it the Statue of Liberty. I don't know the official name.
The official name is Liberty Enlightening the World.
Okay. I'm excited to know that. Yeah. That's good.
Oh, this is so easy. Where's the Liberty Bell currently located?
It's in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Because I have to see it.
The home of where everything was created, basically.
And I have to see it every time the Eagles play. I'm not an Eagles fan, so I like that. I just don't like it to see
I love that. Okay. Every July 4th, how many hot dogs are consumed?
Oh, good.
It's a lot. It's a big number.
There's 325 approximately million people in America. So, I mean...
Not that big.
No, but I'd say 500,000?
150 million.
150 million?
Million.
Jeez, I was way off.
On the Declaration
Don't
of
surprise
Independence, who had the largest signature? Oh, you don't know? How do you not know this one?
Largest signature, though. I don't know how they... I don't know.
Who had the biggest signature? He was like the first to sign it, too.
George Washington?
No.
John Adams.
No.
It's not Jefferson?
No.
Gosh, who is it then?
John Hancock.
Oh, John Hancock. Oh, you're John Hancock. Yeah, you're John
Hancock.
Put your John Hancock on it.
Then give me your John Hancock.
If you gave me that hint, I would have got it. But I was not thinking of him in those. So I'm thinking of historical figures like
John
presidents and
Hancock.
stuff. Yeah. Give me your John Hancock. Yeah.
Man.
It makes sense. If you gave me that hint, I would have got it.
Oh, this one's kind of cray-cray. I actually did know it, but it's cray-cray. So, which two presidents of the United States died on July 4th of the same year?
Oh. I know it. I don't remember it.
Second and third.
Oh. Adams and Jefferson?
It was John Adams and Thomas Jefferson.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They both died on 4th of July. It's kind of sad.
I didn't hear that. I know their numbers, but I didn't hear that they got on 4th of July. I just forgot about it.
Why was the Boston Tea Party's tea shipment ruined?
I don't know why. No.
Due to protest against British.
Yeah. I was
Because
gonna
we
say
don't like them Brits.
I was gonna say there was a battle. There was a battle of some sort, but I wouldn't
It
have said.
wasn't a battle. It was just that it was colonists that dressed up like Indians or Native Americans and stormed the ship and threw all the tea in the harbor because, you know.
There would have been a battle if they threw my
There
tea
was a
out.
lot of money lost in British goods right then and there. So that's why it's really, that's not the only reason, but it is a main reason why it is a major part to the Revolutionary War is because that actually hurt the British economy.
Yeah.
because they would not pay for tea that they had to be taxed on.
Yeah, yeah,
So they sunk it in the harbor.
yeah.
Fun times. What is the estimated population of the United States on July 4th, 1776? 1776.
1776.
New York City. Just kidding. It's on Hamilton.
Obviously, it's nowhere near as 325 million that it is now.
It's definitely nowhere near as many as now.
Um,
But it is still a pretty big number.
I still think it's probably in the millions, all right?
It is in the millions, yeah.
50 million?
No, less than that. Way less than
10
that.
million? No.
Way less than that.
5 million.
Nope, 2.5 million.
2.5 million, okay. No.
Yeah. That's still quite a bit of people.
That's a lot of people, though.
In 1776, like, come on, that's a lot of people.
Yep.
On July 4th, which classic children's book was published? I actually did not know this one.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think.
Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
Mm.
You know, that's not a big shock. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
it's not that big of a shock.
But
However,
you're not
that's
thinking of that,
interesting.
though, in 4th of July type thing, you know.
All right, number 22. We're almost there. In what year were fireworks first used to celebrate the 4th of July?
Well, it wasn't 1776. So,
No.
I would have to think it would have been, was it in the 1800s or early 1900s?
Nope.
It's not early 1900s either?
Mm-mm.
1700s? So then I was thinking 1800s actually. 1777?
It is 1777. Good job.
Yep.
I actually didn't know that one though.
I didn't. I wouldn't have either off the top of my head, but then I started thinking 1800s. I thought, okay, if it's 1700s, then it's probably going to be the next year after.
Yeah. That's kind of cool though that they had
like
fireworks
the very next
back
year,
then.
they're going to celebrate it. Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool that they had fireworks back
Yeah.
then. How I mean, they had cannons and they had actual like guns,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
were dude with powder. So I don't see why they couldn't create fireworks. But I don't know. That's a little bit surprising to me. Why I don't know, but I don't know the history of fireworks either. So
I mean, you know, that makes sense too because the year that it happened, it was a happening. It was, you know, something big that happened.
Yeah.
But the next year is an event. You start celebrating it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you were born a little bit. You don't really have a birthday party when you're born.
Heck yeah,
because
you do.
you're born. I mean, when you're born, but the next year is your birthday, so it's already happened, so you celebrate it.
we were celebrating my birthday
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
in the room. Like it was like, oh yeah, let's go.
Everybody
We're
cake.
having a
She's
party.
It'd be just you though, probably.
It was just me, though.
yeah. You're unique though. You're unique.
Yes, I'm very unique.
But yeah, it makes sense that they would do that.
Okay, number 23. Who is the author of the Pledge of Allegiance?
Okay. I was gonna say Francis Scott Key, but she actually wrote the Star Spangled Banner, right?
He did.
Or he did. Yeah.
He wrote the Star Spangled Banner.
Francis
but
Scott
you're
Key
on the
wrote
right track with Francis.
Yeah, but I don't know the last name though.
Francis Bellamy.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Number 24. During World War II, where did the Declaration of Independence get stored?
I'm not going to get this one probably, but it's kind of interesting. You would think that it had it locked away, though, right? So, locked somewhere, but I don't know exactly. Where was it locked at? No.
Fort Knox.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'd have it locked away, but because World War II was a bloody, but it was a really tough battle. We'll just say that.
And there was like really the hardcore. I mean, I knew that that spies have always been around, but like I want to say World War II was like major with spies.
You know how bad World War II is. You know how the cliche even to this day is when there's someone's fighting, they're arguing, saying, "Oh, so and so wants to start a World War III."
Yep.
Yep. Yep. That's how bad it is.
Are awful.
Yeah. Both of them was, but it was
awful.
coming off of World War II.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then our last one. Which country declared independence from the United States on July 4th, 1960?
It was. Gosh, I should get this one. If when you hear it, when I hear it, I want to know it for sure. It wasn't Canada, was it?
No. Canada was never. I don't think a part. Canada was never a part of us.
I'm just thinking of countries though it's close with the U.S. Let's see. Was it Mexico?
No, Mexico was always independent.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been.
You don't remember the Texan-American War or Texan-Mexican War?
Let's see. Well, I'm thinking of the country though. Was it France?
It's like an island. If that helps.
Wasn't Puerto Rico? Was it Puerto Rico?
Well, it's not Puerto Rico.
Because that was my first thought, but I didn't think it was.
It's a very popular vacation spot. If that helps. Or honeymoon spot, whatever.
It's not Dominican Republic.
No.
Well, that is a popular spot, though.
That is a popular spot. I will give you that. That one is, yeah.
Let's see. Obviously, not the Virgin Islands. Let me think.
You
I
got
really,
this.
I really should get it because I know I'm on pretty close to it. But
You got this. I believe in you.
yeah, because I want to get it. Because once you tell me I'm going to know it, but I'm trying to think. Is there another hint out there? Because I know probably a vacation, but I'm thinking of that. But
Starts with a P.
Panama.
No. Panama's in Florida.
Yeah. Let me think.
Islands. But there's multiple islands in this area.
Yeah. All right, go ahead and tell me because I don't think I'm going to get it.
The Philippines.
Okay. I don't think the Philippines was a popular honeymoon spot, though. I've never really.
I've heard of it as a
probably
popular one, so that's why I said popular, but I don't know.
It may not. I don't know. I could have looked it up, but that was not on the tip of my tongue. I thought it would be, but it really wasn't.
No.
It really wasn't. All right, good stuff. I got some of them, didn't get some, but we learned a lot. So no,
we did learn a lot. It's always fun to learn new
It was
stuff.
fun, especially history for me. So
yes.
All right, what we got for devotion? Let's lead right into that.
Devotion. However, I feel like Dustin gave pretty much devotion.
Dustin gave a really
so
good.
I was like, dang, okay, I guess I don't need to do one, but I'll still do one. I think it's still good. Okay, so the main takeaway from our devotion today, ladies and gentlemen, is coming from 2 Timothy. And this is actually this is not mine. I did not make this one. I got this from our pastor in Oswego. He did a really, really great job. I'm going to kind of tweak it a little bit because I think that this can be, I know that because of Father's Day, he wanted to direct it mainly towards the guys, but I personally just want to direct it towards everybody because I think it's fun. And we can all be inclusive, right? I'm just kidding. All right, so first of all, this first part, it has something to do with the sermon, but it didn't really have a lot to do with the sermon, but I still want to talk about it anyways because it's a good point.
Yeah.
This part was a good point. So, have you ever, do you remember or maybe you might not remember, but do you know how they used to put missing children or missing people on the back of milk cartons, right?
Yes.
Okay, so our pastor brought up the fact brought that up, and he was kind of a little bit upset about it. Not in the sense of, okay, these people don't matter, oh my gosh, why would you put this on people, we don't even know if they still do it anymore, because missing people are so important.
Yeah.
And everything. And now that we have social media, it's almost like you can get it out faster and it's more urgent. Mm-hmm. People are more aware of it, more alerted, of these missing people. So here's one thing that we need to take away from that, when it comes to missing people. God misses his people and wants us to come home to him.
Right. Right.
He does. So we will share. This is kind of where he was a little bit upset in the fact. Not upset with the whole missing people thing, because that's still very important, but like this is where it gets kind of tied in. We will share missing people on social media with urgency, without hesitation, without anything, because we want them to come home. They need to come home, which is true. They do need to come home. But you want to know what's also true? We need to come home to God, because God misses us. Why don't we share that? Why don't we do that with the people God says are missing? God is saying, these people are missing. I need them to come home. I'm trying to show you guys that these people are missing, but nobody seems to care.
And that's what we was talking about with Dustin a little bit, with what we do here. You and I and him and all of us.
That's why I was kind of
bringing
like tied
people
in
here.
this.
I think it ties in perfect, because bringing people here, Jesus came for the lost as the doctor came for the sick.
Yeah.
So that's our main purpose, is to bring people to Him.
Yes.
Here, that's what we do.
And that's just so important, is like to just continue to speak His word. We have the tools to speak His word. Obviously, we have the tools to do that. Okay, so here's kind of where it got a little bit more tied in with the guys, with the fathers. However, I'm still going to use it because it's great.
Yep. I think it applies to all of us. So.
We have the tools in the toolbox God gives us. We have a toolbox. Everybody knows what a toolbox is, right? I'm assuming, yes. So if you don't, all right, I don't know how to help you on that one. But so we have this toolbox of just all different kinds of things, right? Like we cannot fix the brokenhearted. Because you probably do this too. I know I do. I know Travis does it. Travis isn't a dad, but I know he does it. He thinks he can fix everything, right? Yeah. And you're so excited that you fixed it, right? Like you're just like, yeah, I can do this. Well, you want to know something? You cannot fix the brokenhearted.
No.
We might have the tools to guide. We have the tools to guide them to the two people or two entities
there's not a magic bullet to fix the brokenhearted. There's not.
The only ones that can fix the brokenhearted are Jesus and God.
Yeah.
But we have the tools to guide them there. In our toolbox. You want to know what our toolbox is? This. Right here. The Bible is our toolbox. It's God's toolbox. It tells you, I know in the front of my Bible, like literally right here, it says, like right where it's with the table of contents, like the next page, it says like, okay, what the Bible says about this, and it gives you all the different verses. It gives you the tools that we need. And see, God gave this to us so that we can guide those who are missing to come back to Him. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. And I've always known that, but like it was kind of nice to have that reference again. Like, oh my gosh, yes, this is my toolbox that God specifically gave me. He gave this to us. He gave this to His people to help guide others to become His people once again. That's so cool to me. So the first kind of like tool, or the emphasis, and this is where our toolbox begins. It is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 16 through 17. All scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Every good work we're supposed to do, we're equipped to do it. What God has for us, we are ready. Equipped. Yeah, He's given us what we need.
That's so cool to me. I don't know why. I just find that so cool.
He has given us what we need.
Now, he also made the reference to this, like, you know how like whenever you're going on a hill or something like that, or a mountain. Yeah. Like I like to think of whenever we went to Colorado for a volleyball tournament once, not here, but like back whenever I was in high school, my dad was driving on this mountain, and we're getting close to, because you're either right on the edge of the mountain or you're right on the edge of the falling off the mountain, right? So you're right next to the guardrails, and you're so intense, and everything. But the guardrails are set up to protect us. You still have to be kind of on it. You still have to pay attention. You still have to do all of these things to make sure that you don't fall off. However, the guardrails, the Bible is here for our protection, though. These are our guidelines. They outline to our protection. Now, I'm going to go, there's a reason why there's so many tissue paper things stuffed into my Bible right now, because I don't have a lot of bookmarks. Nor did I forget, and I forgot my stickers, so I couldn't sticky them. However, I'm going to read a lot of scripture, so I'm going to be throwing a lot of scripture at you guys. I'm so sorry, but at the same time, it's always great to learn more scripture. I love learning the scripture. I hope you guys do too, or else you probably have already tuned off by now. If you don't, I'm sure you tuned off by now. That's okay, though. We'll get you next time.
They're gonna stay to hear the word.
So,
they're gonna hear it.
Here are some of the tools that we need in order to come close to God, right? So the first tool is to surrender. Here we go. Hang on, I gotta find it. Here it is. Sorry, I'm in a singing mood today for some reason. I don't know why, but it's great.
The Bible
I
says,
love
"Make
it.
a joyful noise unto the Lord."
Yes. See, facts.
Yeah.
Facts,
Yeah,
right here.
that's the
Right
word.
here. It just got justified.
Yeah.
Anyways, so our first tool is to surrender. So in Galatians chapter 2, verse 20, hang on, there it is. It reads, "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. In the life I now live, in the flesh I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me." Jesus surrendered his life for us. We even talked about this last night.
Yeah.
Like, he surrendered himself. He was scared. He was fearful.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I don't know. Like, even Jesus feared death, but at the same time,
he was human.
He
He was 100%
surrendered.
human.
He surrendered to it, and he had faith in what we need to do. So, and I'm going to bring that back up too. But then there's also another one, Matthew. Hang on. I love Matthew. He's such a big chapter, you know. I feel like it's just so long, but it makes sense as to why it's long. And my pages like to stick together on me, so it's taking me a little bit. I'm so sorry, guys. But anyways, in Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 and 25, it reads, "Then Jesus told his disciples," this is whenever, the story that take up your cross and follow Jesus. That's this story. So then Jesus told his disciples, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it."
Yeah.
We have to surrender. If we don't surrender, we will be lost. And might as well as take up the cross as well. We have to surrender. The second tool that we need in our mighty toolbox of multiple different things that we actually have, but this one's definitely something that we need. We need faith. We need faith. All right. We're going to one of my favorite chapters, Hebrews. I feel like it's like one of those underappreciated ones. That's why I think I like it so much. Because I feel like it's super underappreciated for some reason. I don't know. Oh, that's James. I don't need James. I need Hebrews, which is right before James. There it is. Yay. So in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6, it says, "And without faith it is impossible to please him. For whoever would draw near to God must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him." God will seek us if we are seeking him. He will reward us for seeking him. We do know that. We actually do know that, because we know that if we can give ourselves to him and to call out to him in times of need and even times of not need, just call out to him. He just wants to hear from us.
Yeah.
You know, just talking. You know, but we need that faith in him. So again, with bringing up with Jesus dying on the cross. So Jesus was fearful of dying on the cross. He was human, just like me and you. You know, he was absolutely perfect. But you know what? He had faith in the plan that God had. Jesus knew what he was getting into. And did he ask, like, maybe he did think about, like, maybe is there a plan B and is there a plan C even, you know?
Well, he did. He said, if it be God's will, take this cup from me. If it be your will. But nonetheless, which I said last night was the most powerful word in the Bible.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, he's going to do what the will of the Father is.
Yes. So, no matter what, like, even Jesus, he had the faith in his mission from God. He had faith in it. This was God's will. He knew it was God's will. And you know what? He was like, you know what? I'm all in then. This is how it's going to have to be. You know, like, Dad, why are you doing this? Well, this is why. Okay, I understand. And you know what? I'm all in.
Yeah.
That's
right.
what happened. We need faith in that.
Yeah.
And then you see it again. You see a lot of faith in, like, we need faith in the Bible. I'm not going to lie. You see it a lot, guys.
Yeah.
Which I personally enjoy. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go all the way to Joshua, which is way up here in the Old Testament. You know, there. That's Judges. I don't need Judges. Close enough. Close. There's Joshua. All right, and we are now in Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Yes, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go.
Yeah, that's quite a promise. Because they had followed Moses before Joshua.
Yes.
And there was some hesitation even on Joshua's part following that, and God assured him right there that
Yep.
I'm going to be with you wherever you go. It didn't stop with Moses. God's blessing and God's faithfulness didn't stop with Moses. It's carried over to Joshua.
It carried over. Yeah. And that's just so
It carried over to us today. The same God of Moses and Joshua and David and Daniel and
he's still here with us.
And Paul and Peter, he's still here with us.
He is still here with us.
Yep.
Where is it? Nope, it's before this. Oh, I'm listening. It's a little warm in here. Is it warm to you? I feel like it's warm to you.
I think it's been warm for the last several days.
That's true. That's very fair. All right. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the David and Goliath because this is a huge story. I mean, outside the crucifixion alone, and there's multiple and numerous stories about we need faith. We need to keep our faith. We need to have faith in God. But you know what? David and Goliath probably one of the hands down most probably one of the most important we need faith type of stories is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure everybody knows the story of David and Goliath, but you know what? I'm going to tell you anyways because I love it. I think it's awesome, and I just like talking to you guys because soon I can't. So, speak now, right?
Speak now, forever hold your peace. So, not forever, just maybe for 2 weeks.
Just for 2 weeks. It's warm here. So, for David and Goliath, why this is so important and why this is definitely a we need faith type of story is because as you know, Goliath, huge giant for the Philistines, right? Yep. Everybody was about to surrender to the Philistines, say, you know what, they're going to take over us and just have at it. Well, David said no, and David ended up showing up. Even his own brother said, David, why are you here? Because David's like this little kid, right? And he's just like, I got my slingshot, man. You know? Sorry, I'm having so much fun with us. He's like, I got my slingshot and I got my rock, and now watch this, you know? It was not David that brought down Goliath. It was God. It was the faith that David had in God. He knew, you know what, this little tiny rock, it was actually a pretty small rock too. Like, it wasn't a huge like boulder or anything, you know? Yeah. No, it was almost like a pebble, basically. Yeah. He knew. And it was not just a lucky shot, it wasn't anything. He had so much faith that God was going to take down Goliath because he told David that he was going to take down Goliath, but he needed to do this first. So David did it, and all of a sudden you see the rock flying, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're going to embarrass us, you're just going to make him mad. All of a sudden, bam, Goliath falls.
Yeah.
And then eventually David becomes king, whole 9 yards. That leads into a whole bunch of other stories, which are kind of interesting. Yeah, David's an interesting character.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think David's an interesting character.
David did things that's not godly, for sure.
No, he didn't. But
he was a great king. He wasn't a great father.
No, that's why I'm like,
a great
he's
husband.
An interesting character. You know, he's such an interesting character.
But David was a man of God's own heart. He was always, and it shows me what God can do with what we give him. See, the story is, The rock is what technically killed Goliath, but it was God guiding the rock.
It was God guiding
Without
the
God's blessing, that rock is just going to glance off Goliath's head. It's going to make him mad.
Yes.
But it's just like the kid with the 5 loaves and 12 fish or whatever. When he gave it to God to feed the 5,000, God multiplied it.
Yes, he
so
did.
all God wants us to do is give what we have to Him, and He'll bless it and do what He has to with it. But we have to give it to Him.
Exactly.
So with what we have is not good enough. But with what we have given to God, with God multiplying it and blessing it, it's going to serve the purpose that God wants it to serve.
Yes.
Goliath needed to die. Yeah.
Step into adversity like Jesus. We live in a world where adversity is not okay. We run away from adversity.
Yeah.
But let's step into it. Jesus did.
Goliath needed to die because of what he was taunting God's people. So God used David to kill him.
Yep.
The boy, the 5,000 needed fed. Jesus didn't want him going home hungry. So he took what the boy had and multiplied it and fed the 5,000. Everything that we have, we give to God. It multiplies and serves that purpose.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. Right there. Okay, done. Whole 9 yards. Everything's done. I'm just kidding. We still got 2 more tools left to go. The third tool is humility. Now, when I'm talking about humility, I'm not talking about like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed type of humility, or like, oh my gosh, I just humiliated myself in so many different forms and fashion. No, not that kind of humility. That's not the humility that God talks about. And that's not the humility that He wants us to bring. The humility that He wants us to bring, humility enough to be a servant of God. To say, man, I need help. To be humble.
Yeah.
To be all of these different things. That is the humility in which God wants us to follow. Because, and obviously, I know I say this verse all the time. It's my all-time favorite. Well, this is one of my all-time favorites, at least. I have so many, I swear. But 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 and 7, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time He may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on Him, and because He cares for you.
That's an awesome verse for all of us.
Oh, it's such an amazing verse. It's such a power verse.
Yeah.
That I feel like for a book that does not get, because 1 Peter is not a book that most people try to go to. It's not their go-to book, right? Yeah. But there's so many powerful things in 1 Peter that a lot of people take for granted. And this is definitely one of those verses that I feel like people try to take for granted. And I wish they would stop because it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we have to be humble. Humble yourselves. Humble yourselves. Humiliate yourself. And not in a way that embarrasses yourself. You have to give into humility. You have to be a servant. You have to serve.
Right.
In Colossians. Wow, Colossians. Either way, it's same thing, right?
Colossians.
Yeah. It's like the same thing. It sounds the same, right? Right, I think so. But in Colossians chapter 3, verse 12, put then as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. With humility comes the kindness, the heart, the patience.
Yeah.
That comes with it,
mm-hmm.
but you have to do it. You have to be a servant of God in order for the kindness and the heartedness and the patience to come and follow. And that's so fascinating to me because I never would have thought of that.
I know that's awesome.
It's something that you don't really think of a whole lot. All right, now we're going into James because James is awesome, right?
James will really test. James is a book that will really test you.
James is a testy one.
It will really.
He's a testy booger.
It will challenge you.
He's a testy booger.
Yeah, it will challenge you.
Oh, man, if I can find him, it'd be great. Oh, man, he's in New Testament. He's in Old Testament. What am I doing with my life here? Call myself a Christian. I can't even remember this. No, that's Micah. What am I doing? Okay. We're getting there. We're getting somewhere. Ish. Ash just told me to breathe. I think that's a good idea. Okay, for some reason I'm not finding my James. I don't know why I cannot find my James, and it's kind of stressing me out a little bit, but it's okay. That's Judges. I don't want that. All right, hang on. Give me a hot sec. Really quick, guys. I'm so sorry because I'm making this way longer to be, but it's cool. I literally had all of this down, and then I lost it. James is after Hebrews. That's where that one went. I was wondering where it went. Okay. Now we're back on track, guys. I promise we're back on track. Ish. It's a big ish. You know? Oh, man, it's just fun. We're having fun, right? Are we having fun? I think we're having fun. There's my James. Okay, my paper was a little bit off, so that's why it was a little under. That's why I couldn't find a current one. But anyway, so here's James.
You're there.
James chapter 4, verse 10. Yeah, right? Yeah, 10. Okay. I couldn't tell because the 0 was like covering the 1. But anyways, so chapter 4, verse 10. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will exalt you. And then we go to Micah. Love Micah. Micah's actually an underappreciated one too, I feel like.
Oh, for sure.
It's
yeah.
definitely a very
powerful. You don't hear a lot of references
book.
to Micah.
No,
really.
you don't. So that's why I'm like, it's a very powerful book, but it's very underappreciated. All right, here we go. Micah. So we have Micah chapter 6, verse 8. He has told you, O man, what is good? What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God?
That's some big instructions there.
That's all he asks of us.
Yeah.
That's all he wants from us.
And it's important. And it's a day-to-day thing. You just have to continue to do.
For sure.
That's pretty simple, but it's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
It's very important instructions.
Honestly, though, like nothing is easy, you know. But we need to learn to be comfortable with the things that are not easy.
Right.
And that's where I feel like a lot of people need to hear that and understand that life, it's not easy. We always hear the phrase, life's not easy, you know. But it's so true. Like, nothing is easy. But you know what? What is easy is to just love.
Yeah.
To be kind. To be humble. That's all God asks of us.
Yeah.
That's literally, like, he gives us so many blessings. And all he asks in return is for us to be kind and to love others and to be humble. That's all he asks of us.
Yeah.
And that, like, that's so crazy. And then we have again in Galatians, whatever now, I'm losing it. Chapter 5.
Now we're in Galatians. Colossians and Galatians.
Man. Chapter 5, verse 13. For you were called to freedom. Brothers, only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. Jesus served his disciples. You know, right before he went to go and die on the cross, he washed the feet. He even washed the feet. He washed the feet of the two men, the one who would betray him and the one Judas, who would deny him. He washed their feet. He told them, deny me, and you will betray me.
And he still washed their feet,
and he still washed their feet.
So if we have any enemy,
Man,
I mean, Judas made himself an enemy of Jesus. But when he betrayed him, and Jesus knew it was coming. Jesus knew it was coming, but you know what? He still served him. If he could serve him, how there's really nobody that we shouldn't serve.
Exactly. I'm like, how can the one who literally gave him up to die on the cross and the one who literally denied him 30 times? Amazing
example
so
of Jesus.
Cool.
When we say be Christ-like, that's almost like a cliche. But there's so much that goes into being Christ-like, and serving one another is at the top of the list.
We need to be humble. We need to be able to give. What was my train of thought? But anyways, you know what I mean. And then the fourth and final tool that we have is prayer. We just have to pray. You know, like I said earlier, God just wants to hear from us. You know how whenever you're sitting there, I personally turn to my mom. I don't personally turn to my dad, but I'll also turn to my sister, you know. But, like, just call him up and say, hey, how are you today? You know, like, that's all God really wants from us. He wants to hear the good. He doesn't only want to hear the bad from you. He takes the bad. Like, he he definitely takes it. We don't need to just pray to him to say, hey, I need your help, God, like, what are we doing here? We don't need that. Like, that's not the only type of prayer that we need to do. We need to do the praying that's just like, you know what, God, I had a really, really great day today about it.
Mm-hmm. The personal aspect of it.
It's the personal. It's literally that child-father connection.
Yeah.
That he wants to hear from us. He just wants to hear from us. It doesn't have to be always bad. It can be positive too.
Mm-hmm.
It never only.
And that's the thing. We think we can only go to God when we need something.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I feel like that's like the superstition, or not superstition, but the stigma or whatever. I feel like that's something that people just think we just do. Like, no, like, we just talk to him. Like, if you just talk to him, he doesn't, like, he's gonna listen to you.
Right.
He's never gonna turn you away. Sorry, I'm trying to find this other one now. I feel like I just, like, lost everything. That's James. Where am I going? There it is.
You got it.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to find Philippians. It's past 1 Corinthians. I know that. Oh, man. Ephesians. It's in between Ephesians, isn't it? It's last Galatians. It's after Galatians. It's in between Ephesians and... Yeah. Okay, so here's Philippians. I'm losing it. I swear, guys. Oh, man, but aren't we all? So in Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, it says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. That's so powerful.
It is.
That's so amazing.
And the next part of that verse is maybe one of my favorite passages of the whole Bible. Look what he's going to give you. He'll give you the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus.
Yes. Isn't that cool?
So the
That's
peace
so
that peace, like we talk about peace, the world can't give us peace like that.
No.
When we have peace during adversity, that's where it comes from God. That's when we're facing something, that's where it comes. That's where you know it's from the Lord.
Yes.
It's because he gives us peace that the world can't give it. You can't understand that. You shouldn't have it based on your worldly circumstances, but God gives it to us. So powerful.
Yeah. It truly is. And I mean, guys, it's so simple to just sit there and pray. Even during the good times, it's I think it's honestly easier the times than it is the bad times.
Yeah.
Personally, I do.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's so amazing that, like, if we just pray to him, he just wants to hear from us.
Right.
He just wants us to say, you know what, God, this has been great. Thank you so much. Give thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Give thanks for all the blessings that we have. It's so amazing. And, we are completely useless. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
We are completely useless for the longest
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
What the pastor said, he said, until we get out our toolbox, this right here, and use it.
Yeah.
Not just have it, not just us personally read it, but we have to use it.
Yeah.
We are considered useless.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be useless.
Yeah.
Be useful.
Yeah. Powerful words.
Right here, again, in 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verses 16 and 17. All scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may complete, equipped, good work.
Again, there's that word again, equip.
Equipped.
Yeah.
We are equipped with our toolbox. This
Yeah.
is our toolbox, guys. And we have to get it out. If we don't, but not only do we have to get it out, we have to use it. Put it to use. Because if we don't, then we are considered useless.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's so amazing. I loved this sermon so much.
This is an excellent devotional. I think this might have been your best. I'll have to ask my mom. No, she's the expert on your devotionals. Yes. So if she thinks it's your best, then it's your best.
Grandma is the best one.
Yeah.
She's the good judgment.
Yeah.
I'm sure Grandpa is there too. So.
Yeah. She'll know. She'll know. No. She'll know, and she want you to call you.
Oh, Nana. Okay.
She'd want you to call her Nana.
Okay,
but,
Nana.
Nana
knows best.
Yeah. That's what the boys call her. She'd want that. But yeah, I have to check because she's the expert on it. But I think it might have been your.
I hope she loved it. I hope she enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you to the pastor in Oswego for allowing me to use that. I mean, I just took sermon notes. I still tried to make it.
It has to come from somewhere. The devotionals has to come from somewhere. The Bible. I mean.
Majority of this was from straight up in here.
Yeah.
Literally because we had to prove all the tools that we need. It's right here. This is literally our toolbox, guys.
Yeah.
And if you have a Bible as special as mine, I guess, in a way, I don't know. I feel like I love mine. I think it's pretty. I think it's awesome. It's got an elephant on it because my godmother, her friend, put an elephant on it for me.
I think it's very
Isn't it cute?
neat.
It's super cute.
Yeah.
So I already have a special, one-of-a-kind Bible
personal.
Right here.
Yeah.
It even has my name on it.
It makes it personal.
It does.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
No, this is an outstanding podcast. This was a spectacular guest.
Yes, he was. I loved
incredible.
him. I swear, did he come and be one of our speakers one year?
He might have.
I could have sworn he was one. I knew he looked familiar.
He might have.
I was like, I don't know why, but he looked so familiar to me, but I couldn't tell why.
I
wasn't sure if I should ask or not. But it's okay.
I
believe he was one of our
motivational. He does.
I believe he was one of our motivational speakers for 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was my sophomore year.
He does do that.
It was for freshman orientation for all of the athletes. Athletes orientation.
Yeah.
Well, coach wanted all of us to go because he knew how good of a motivation. And I'm pretty positive it was Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
It very likely would have been. Yeah, very likely.
I remember him telling us about the lion in the zoo. Oh, that's about it.
Yeah. So if we're to close out on an absolute high note. Our football stadium did win the college football next stadium. Yeah.
Our stadium is super, super awesome.
NAI Stadium Stampede Championship. So that is pretty cool.
Do we get
won
a
pretty
plaque
big.
now?
I don't know what we get. I think we just get pride.
Oh, okay.
We've shared it everywhere
I'm
on
cool
social
with
media.
that.
I think it's pride.
Humbleness right there.
Humbleness right there. Yeah, good lesson in that. But it's not many times. It's on a small list of stadiums that actually have the new iron turf, along with the New England Patriots and Sporting KC. So it's big time, and everyone's going to get a chance to come see it this year. If you haven't made it out to a game, come out this year. It's going to be fun. But great podcast, great devotional, good randomness. The one with Aaron Meister was good. Dustin was awesome today.
Great start to our summer series. Well, it's not really the start. It's the second second time.
Yeah, we're in full go mode.
We're in full go now, Matt.
Yeah, we're in it. So we'll let you know the next date of it. As Morgan shared, she's having tonsil surgery, So it'll be after that when we do our next one. But it won't be that long after that. We'll let everybody know. Keep it in mind. We'll figure out when our next date's going to be. But anyway. Well, with that note, I know it's Morgan, your turn to pray because I did the first one. So Morgan's going to pray us out, and we'll talk to you again soon.
I ask that you continue to bless each and every single one of us in our day-to-day lives and to just help us to be guided to you and to be humble and to do your work through your toolbox, whole 9 yards. Just let us be useful and walk with you, God, because we all know how important that is. We know that those missing people need to come closer to you. And I just ask that you continue to watch over each and every single one of us and bless us on long trips that we have, all those that are suffering in some way. I ask to help them get through the challenging time and the challenging waters that they are going through right now, God. Anyways, I hope and ask for another blessed day tomorrow because it's going to be fun. Sorry, this is really, really long. But anyways, love you, God. As always, you are such a...
Amen. All right, so we'll let you know the next date of our next Talking with Friends summer podcast. We'll continue our summer series. Until then, for Morgan, I'm Levi saying have a great rest of your evening and a great rest of the week, and we will talk to you again soon.
Bye.